guys are here today with LK because a new Project L teaser or like trailer, dev, blog, whatever just dropped, and a lot of people are definitely going crazy over it. So, I mean, I know LK has some interesting thoughts about team games, so let's get into it.
Yeah, so I mean, if I was gonna summarize my impressions, let's go with impressions here. I mean, each time they've shown us footage of the game, I feel like they've been pretty meaningful with what they showed. So one was like, hey, game exists, right? And then two was like, all right, we're focusing on these things, thinking about the netcode, blah, blah, blah. They showed that it was a team game originally. So like this time, they're really focused on a couple things, mostly showing off how the team mechanics worked and emphasizing something that's very important for people who enjoy team games, which is flexibility of movement and just seeming that there's a lot of options. So a lot of people are pretty excited about this. However, I am not one of those people. I am not one of those people. And to be honest, probably the saddest part of the video was when they said it was a 1v1 game and they changed their mind. And I was like, dude, no, don't do this to me. However, I don't have any skin in the league game, and it is an actual team game. It's a 5 vs 5 game, so I know it does make sense that it is a team game. But there's just so many reasons why I think it's cursed. And on top of that, though, it does look like good. It looks good. Looks pretty fluid. We got to see some stuff that they didn't explain, which was nice, like what movement looks like. They listed a bunch of different types of movement without actually like being like, this is this jump, this is that jump, this is
Yeah.
this thing. But yeah, it was cool, and I thought it was cool. What'd you think?
Obviously, like we saw like air dashes and stuff, but the most unique thing to me that I haven't seen in a while was being able to backdash and then like you're wave dashing back, right? Which means that Rushdown is not going to be as overwhelming as it has been the past like however many games. It's usually that backwards movement is significantly slower than forwards movement, right? And in this case, you're actually going to be able to move away from your opponent at like a decent speed, and you're gonna have to do something to catch that, which looks interesting to me. And also they said that characters would they would have unique movement based on like what character they are, right? Which is something that we see in anime games. It's something that we see in Marvel, but it is not something that we see in Dragon Ball Fighters, right?
It's not
So
common, at least anyway.
yeah, so I think that's also going to be really interesting, like seeing how valuable a character having an air dash or not having an air dash and stuff like that is going to be. So I'm actually really looking forward to like unique movement options by character.
Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely like it's just kind of an uncommon take, like where I'm just like, man, it's this team game, so I'm gonna be sad. Everyone's like, why are you sad? We're gonna have all these options. They're talking about how creative you could be and all the player expression, and I'm like, that player expression, the only expression we're gonna see is the expression from the devs when they nerf the stuff that is really, really broken that everyone comes up. That's just how I feel. The good news is, despite, I mean, outside of game stuff too, it's nice to go into a franchise I don't really know anything about. A lot of established franchises that get a fighting game that end up becoming popular, they become popular because of the franchise. Like Dragon Ball. I grew up with a kid watching Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball when they showed original Dragon Ball. Where League is like this really big IP that I literally like. I haven't watched Arcane. I don't play when they said the characters are in Runeterra, I was like, isn't that a card game and that's separate from League of Legends? And then the chat roasted me. So that is actually something I'm kind of interested in. And also, like, what does that mean for characters? Because they're gonna try to carry over things from the characters from the League game, of
Yeah.
old game, whatever, main game, MOBA game, to the fighting game. So I think that stuff's gonna be cool.
Yeah, like
And it looks cool so far.
we saw like, so Ilaoi is like, she's just an automatic character in terms of like, she like summons tentacles and they literally go off on their own and you don't control them. Literally automatic. And then we saw like Ari's ult is like she has like 3 dashes. They're not like air dashes, they're the launches herself, and we saw those also. So they're definitely gonna try and put, moves from League into the fighting game. And I just hope they don't ever add stealth characters, please. Please, no stealth characters. Also, the most interesting part is that like a lot of characters in League, and by a lot I mean like over half of them, have some kind of projectile, and in League they're called skill shots because you have to aim them, but like have some kind of projectile, right? And those moves in League, they're like varying degrees of usefulness, but in a fighting game as an assist, beam assists are just like, they're the classic,
Goats.
right? Like
goats.
they're always going to be good. Any kind of projectile assist is just like, it can like define how a match is played out. So I think that a lot of characters are like are going to have projectile assists, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they do to make all of these projectile assists unique from each other, because there's going to be so many.
Or there could be,
There
likely,
probably is going to be so many.
likely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I want to say that's probably the last we're going to see from them once again for a while.
Yeah.
The next thing I really want to see, like to be honest, I wanted to see more character stuff than universal mechanic stuff.
yeah. Just see like
Initially.
what character direction they're taking.
But them showing mechanics were pretty important because they showed it's a 2v2 game, so we all kind of assumed it was probably going to be like this, but they showed their 3 main assist mechanics.
Yeah,
One
and thank God there's
being-
burst.
Yeah, the one being burst, and thank God there's burst. 2 being the traditional assist call, which there's 2, which is kind of an in between for team games, right? Like some games, like your Marvel and Dragon Ball, like you have 1 assist, but you can pick from 3. This game, there's only 2 characters, so even like in a 3v3, you don't need your assist to have 2 different moves, but a 2v2 to make it a little bit more flexible, you give the assist more like options, right? And then we have the true darkness, which is
The active switch.
I forgot what they called it, but the active switch.
Active switch.
They called it active switch.
No.
Okay.
But it's called active switch.
Yeah. So that's like a tag, literally like tagging out while your assist is out, which can lead to potentially some extremely strong situations. There are examples in other games, emphasis on a couple of other games. I don't think it's going to be as crazy.
You never know.
I don't know. What I actually want to see is some characters, maybe a couple of matches, maybe a couple of whole matches.
Hopefully.
I feel like we would have actually gotten more from them just posting 3 matches than them showing the mechanics, because they showed the mechanics but they didn't really say stuff about the mechanics. And like something like, oh, you can call assist, like, well, we knew you can call assist. The new info was your assist has more than 1 move, right? That's the new info.
I'm kind of interested to see like if they keep like certain rules from, let's say, Marvel, because there's a lot of Marvel players who are working on it, right? And like in Marvel, there's like 2 really big ones. Is number 1, you can't call an assist while you're super jumping, and number 2, you can't call assist while you're doing special moves. And those restrictions might actually be pretty interesting for the game and might stop some like degenerate stuff from going on. It didn't in Marvel, but I'm kind of interested to see that. And then I'm also like really interested mainly to see like how burst like affects like the match flow, I guess, right? Because having a burst in a team game, like I like there's a burst in baby tag, but like, I said team game. And it's not super common, to my knowledge, at least, for games with assists to have bursts in them. And they seem like they kind of emphasize like how big of a deal it is if you get your burst baited. And what that means to me is that I think that means you're getting happy birthday. Like that means you're getting your point and your assist comboed, because your assist like comes in to like burst them off, right? And I think that means that you're getting happy birthday if you get your burst baited, but they weren't completely clear on that. But like team games are known for having all kinds of shenanigans go on, so a burst is pretty important to have, and that baiting that burst because of that is going to be so important. So how safe things are going to be to burst, number 1, and number 2 is how much is the burst bait actually going to like end the game for the person who baits the burst.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good point. Outside of that, they did show us actually a little bit of the current characters too, outside of Ilaoi. There you go. So they showed her. They showed a little bit more Echo. I definitely think Echo is going to be the fighting game player's character, like the Kid Buu character. There's Ari that we saw, and it looked like she had like dive kicks and stuff. Then there is Jinx, who looked like she had Samus's down smash, but on like a ton of moves. I know I explained that very oddly, but
I mean, in League, like I think it's her W. She like sends out 3 of those little like bomb thingies, and they just like she sends them out like pretty far in front of her, and then they're just like mines if you step on them.
So how do you rate what they showed? Because this is them being like, yeah, this is what's up.
I think it looks like for their audience, like they knew it's just gonna be like fighting game players who are just starving for anything. I think they knocked it out of the park, because everybody, as we see, is either losing their mind over it or just hating on it like crazy, and that's still good for numbers for them. So I think they did a great job. I would have really liked to see how burst works, honestly, but other than that, I think it was really good, like what they showed.
It's pretty good review. Despite me not being happy at the team stuff, I actually thought it was a pretty good presentation, and there was some subtle for the sweats, for the people who are really trying to look at the footage. There's actually like a lot of extra stuff in there, so I thought it was pretty good. I hope they keep on going on that path, at least with pre-release stuff, because again, like you said, everyone is always starving for info.
Yeah.
And they've been definitely drip feeding
Yeah.
everybody. Like it's just so little.
You know, like the meme of like Mickey Mouse cutting like the little slice of bread. Yeah.
You want me to just take it out?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. A little stretchy. All right, but let us know what you guys think. How did you guys feel about the presentation? Good, bad, hype, not hype? Let us know in the comment section below. As usual, like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.